We will continue with the explanation of how to read a vernier caliper. Previously, we discussed how to read it using the International System units, that means millimeters, and in this video we will learn how to do it using inches. As you know, well, you may know, I'm from Colombia, so here we use the International System of Units, but it is pretty common to find some textbooks or some different things of information in inches. As you know, there is, I think, two countries that use them. The principal one is the United States, so we have to learn how to use those type of measurements. Now, as always, we will start with a photo of the vernier caliper. We will identify the parts, and then we will proceed with the process for us to identify the measure of a vernier caliper in inches. So right here we have the upper jaws. The upper jaws are being used for inside dimensions. Right here we have the lower jaws, of course, but used for outside dimensions. And right here we have the depth rod for when you want to measure depths. Regarding another part, we have the thumb screw. So it is a part that you use with your finger for you to keep the dimension while you read it. And there is usually, as you can see, this vernier caliper doesn't have it, a lock screw. A lock screw is basically has the same I'm sorry, I don't even know the word in my language. I apologize. It does have the same purpose, I'm sorry, as the thumb screw, and it is just to keep the dimension while the person reads it. But in this case, you don't have to place your finger on the vernier caliper. Now, regarding the two principal parts that we will use for us to discuss the dimension, they are called the main scale and the vernier scale. When we are talking about inches, imperial unit system, we will find that there is two principal types of vernier calipers. The first one is the one that you read using decimal numbers, and it is usually given in 1 divided by 1000 fractions of an inch. All right, so it could show right here 1 over 1000, although, for example, since this vernier caliper, as you can see, is in millimeters, you can use another scale right here, for example, for you to have millimeters on the below part of the vernier caliper and inches on the upper side of the vernier caliper. So you can find, for example, 1 over 1000, or for example 0.001, which is the same thing. Now, there is another type, which is the vernier caliper using fractions of an inch, and we will learn how to read those. And it is by using the scale of 1 divided by 128. Right, of course, if you have this scale, you can read it using decimal numbers, but we will not learn how to do that, because if you have the vernier caliper in fractions of an inch, you should read it in fractions of an inch. If you had it in 1 over 1000, then you should read it using decimal numbers. It is pretty common to do it that way. All right, so I think that I already showed this. We will start with 1 over 1000 fractions of an inch. So this is pretty easy, guys. We just have to do a summatory of different things. First, for the first two things that we have to add, we have to take into consideration the main scale. So as you can see right here, we have first to know where is the zero. Where is the zero line regarding the vernier scale, which is this one, main scale, vernier scale. All right, so regarding the vernier scale, we have to know where is the zero. As you can see, it is between this line and this line. Each line is going to be equal to 0.025, right? Since we have passed the third one, I have to add 0.025 1, 2, and 3 times. So that is why right here we have this. Now, since we didn't have passed the first one, we are not going to add anything. All right, so it is going to be 0.0 plus 0.025 times 3, 1, 2, 3, plus, and now we will take into consideration the line that lines up with regarding the vernier scale. So as you can see, the line that it is lining up, it's the 16th line. So we will add 0.016. That means that the final dimension is going to be 0.091 inches. Another example. As you can see, we will check first where is the zero. So it is between 3 and 4. So we have to add 0.3 first. Second, we will check how many lines we have passed regarding this scale. So we have passed just one, so it is going to be 0.3 plus 0.025. And then we will check what is the line that lines up with regarding just the vernier scale. So in this case is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 one. So we will add 0.004 because as the scale suggests, the one that we were mentioning before, this vernier scale is equal to 0.00 and the number. In this case, 0.004. That is why the final result is going to be 0.329, 329 inches. Another example. We will take into consideration once again where is the zero. Okay, the zero is between 4 and 5. First step, 0.4 plus what? We have passed the first and the second line, right? So it is going to be 0.025 times 2. And finally, we will check what is the line that lines up. As you can see, it is the 21. So we will add 0.4 plus 0.025 times 2 plus 0.020, because as you can see right here we have 2 digits and it is not going to be 0.0020, but because this is equal to this number instead of 20, and the final result is going to be 0.4 plus 0.025 times 2, which is 0.050, and finally we will find that this is equal to 0.471. all right, right here we have the 21. One time we find the 0.025 once again right here, and the 0.4. Now, well, this is pretty much it regarding that scale, 1/1000. The rest is to practice. I'm going to show you the webpage in which I find, or that I've used, which is this one actually, for you to practice. It is basically, that is pretty much it. Now, regarding the other scale, we will find, for example, as I mentioned before, that we have 1/128. That means that first we have to focus on the vernier scale. As you can see right here, each number is going to be divided by 128. So 0 divided by 128. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 divided by 128. 2 divided by 128. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, as you can see, this one corresponds to this line. This one corresponds to this other. This one corresponds to this one, and so on. I just want to make myself understand. Now, of course, when you have a fraction that you can divide by 2, you're going to do it. So in this case, 1 divided by 129, I cannot, and 28, I'm sorry. I've been saying 129, I apologize. 128. So right here we have 1 divided by 64. Right here I cannot do anything. Right here we have 2 divided by 64. Once again, 1 divided by 32. Right here we have 3 divided by 64. And finally, we have 4 divided by 64. And then 2 divided by 32. And finally, 1 divided by 16. All right, you just have to simplify the fraction. Now, we just have to take into consideration these numbers, the ones that I'm going to show in blue. We can discard these ones because we are not going to use them. Now, as you can see, regarding the main scale, which is the second step, we will have that every single line is going to be equal to 1 divided by 16. Why is that? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 1 divided by 16, 2 divided by 16, etc. Each line is going to represent 1 divided by 16. We don't have to simplify that. We just have to simplify, as we did before, the vernier scale. Now, I think that everything is said. Now we will continue with the procedure. First example. As always, where is the 0? All right, so the 0 is right here. It is between 0 and 1. Right? So the first thing that I need to take into account is that I don't have a whole unit of inches. I have 0 point something. So 0 inches and what? We have to locate what is the line that we need, what is the line that lines up regarding the vernier scale. So as you can see, it's this one. So the second line. Remember that we mentioned that the second line is equal to 1 divided by 64. So I'm going to write down that, for example, right here. I'm sorry. 1 divided by 64. Now, once again, where is the 0? Take into consideration the main scale. The 0 is between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Between the 6th line and the 7th. All right. So I'm going to write down 6 divided by 16. What's left is to play with this information. So I have to divide 64 by 16. 64 by 16. This is equal to times 4. I think, yeah, 4. Now, using that 4, we will write down the equation. So this is equal to 4 times 6 plus 1. No worries, I'm going to show where all that came from. 4 times 6 denominator plus 1 denominator of the first division. And finally, this is going to be equal to 24 plus 125. And we will use the same denominator of the first dimension that we used. So at the end, the final answer is going to be equal to 0 inches and 25 over 64. Right here, we have the answer for those of you who wants to double check. Now we will do it once again a little bit faster. First step, what is the line that lines up regarding the vernier scale? Okay, it's the 5th one, right? So I don't have to think about it. 5 divided by 128. Now the 0 is before the 1, this one. So the answer is not going to be a complete inch. That means that we have 0 and a fraction of an inch. Now, where is the 0? The 0 is between the 15 and 16 line. So, 15 divided by 16. Alrighty. Now, once again, 128 divided by 16 is equal to 8. 8 times 15 is equal to 40, 0, 4, 8, 12, 120 times 120. Okay, we will do it because okay, so 128 divided by 16 is equal to 8. That means that I have to add 8 to multiply 8 by 15. This is equal to 120 plus 5. This is equal to 125 divided by 128. And right here we have the final answer, 0.125 128 inches. Let's check. Right here we have the answer. Of course, I'm not used to read these kinds of dimensions because I'm used to work with the vernier caliper in millimeters. So it is basically just practice. By practicing it, you will practically just see the vernier caliper and in your mind do all the process, and when you will find the answer as fast as you can. Another example, and I'm going to try to do it once again in my head. These videos are pretty much it for you to practice, and I as well. So is the sixth line 6 divided by 128. That means that I have 3 divided by 64. That is the first thing that we have to make sure it's correct. Now the 0 is between 1 and 2, so I have 1 inch and a fraction of an inch. Now it is between the line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, between the 10 and the 11th line. So that means that I have 10 over 16 and 3 over 64. Now 64 divided by 16 is equal to 4. 4 times 10 is equal to 40. Plus 3 is equal to 43. 43 over the same denominator that we had at the beginning. Well, the first fraction that we mentioned. So it is equal to 43 over 64. That means that the final result is equal to 1 inch, 43 over 64 fractions of an inch. Let's check if it's correct. Right here we have it. Alrighty guys, that is pretty much it. Of course, I'm going to show you the web pages. So as you can see right here, you can practice by hiding the result. We will do it just to check. For example, I don't know, this one. So we have the 0 between 5 and 6, so it is going to be equal to 0.5, the first dimension that we require. We haven't passed any of the lines within this scale, so I'm not going to add anything. But right here we have 21, 22, and 23. The 23 line is the one that lines up with the other scale. So at the end is going to be 0.5 plus 0.023. So it is basically 0.523. That should be the result. Right here we have it. Now regarding the other, as you can see right here, we can see the result once again. Okay, right here you have the option for you to do a zoom in for you to see which line is the one that lines up. So once again, hide right here and let's move, for example, right here. Now, first step, what is the line that lines up is the fifth one. So 5 divided by 128. It is between 2 and 3, so I have 2 inches and fractions of an inch. And it is between 1, 2, 3, the third line and the fourth one. So 3 divided by 16. 5 divided by 128. And 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, I forgot. 3 divided by 16. So it is going to be equal to 8 multiplied by 3, 24, plus 5, it is equal to 29 divided by 128. Let's check. My answer is 2 inches, 29 divided by 128. Let's check. All right, here we have the final answer. Well, as you can see, it is basically to practice it. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I think that it is going to be a large video, but if you get to this point, please comment down below if you're still here. And that is pretty much it. This is how you can read the vernier caliper using the imperial system. Use customary base units.